Changing the way that you speak to yourself is the quickest way to change your reality. And what I mean by that is basically reprogramming your subconscious mind. So if you don't know what the subconscious mind is, it's where you have automatic behaviors, like where you don't have to think about it. For example, if someone asks you your name, you tell them your name because that's not something that you have to think about. That was years of programming since you were like a little kid and you were taught your name, and repetition, you finally know your name now, and it's stored in the back of your mind to where you can respond without thinking about it. Walking is another good example. You don't have to think about how to walk. It's something that you just do. Same thing for like if you walk up to your car and you press the unlock button and then you open the door, and that's not really something that you stop and think about. It's mainly the things that you do out of habit that you don't have to stop and think about, because you have a system in place that's been programmed there where you will automatically do that. It's your automatic response. It's the part of your mind that remembers information when you're not actively trying to remember it, and it also influences like your behaviors even if you're not necessarily like aware of it. A lot of times, again, it's just something out of habit, and it's not something that you are intentionally trying to do and think about it. Whenever it's intentional, that's more so like your conscious mind, whenever you are intentionally making decisions and you are actively aware of it. But when you're not, it's your subconscious mind. And the reason I bring that up is because the title of this video is, if you change the way that you speak to yourself, you can literally have whatever you want. A lot of times the way that you are living life right now, and the life that you have, the life that you are experiencing, is due to your subconscious mind, because your mind is so powerful and you can create the reality that you want. For example, it's a matter of perspective as well. And it's like, if you have certain beliefs about yourself and you have certain beliefs about specific things, that's gonna show up in the way that you subconsciously behave and how you think about certain things and how you react to things as well. Having an understanding of what the subconscious mind is, you can literally ask yourself, like, if someone was to tell you like you are capable of having like the life you want, the person that you want, the job that you want, everything that you want, a lot of times there's gonna be some type of conflicting thought that comes up in your mind where you're like, no, that's impossible for me to have that, or no, I can't have that because of this, or I don't think I deserve that, or I'm not capable of that because I don't look a certain type of way, or I don't deserve this because I don't act a certain type of way, or I'm boring, or whatever it is. There's a lot of like core beliefs that will start to come to the surface whenever you hear those things. And that's why it's so important to start to reprogram your mind, so that whenever you do attempt to go after the things you want, you don't have these contradictory thoughts in your mind that's kind of fighting against you, and while you are pursuing what you are pursuing. And the way to reprogram your mind is to start by identifying what the thoughts are, the limiting beliefs and the core beliefs that you have about yourself, or whatever it is that you have limiting beliefs about. Identify what those beliefs are, and you can write them down like in a journal or something, and like make a list of what they are. And then you can ask yourself, where do you think they came from? Because a lot of times they came from childhood, different experiences you experienced while you were young, and some of them aren't even necessarily thoughts that were really ever yours. Sometimes they come from other people, like from bullying, or maybe if you had parents that looked down on you and didn't believe in you or something, and used to pour that type of energy into you when you were young, and you kept that until your adult age. And so that's why it's really important to break it down, to try to figure out where it came from, and then having that understanding where you self-talk. And every time you wake up in the early day, you tell yourself that you love yourself, you tell yourself that you are capable, you tell yourself that you are deserving, you tell yourself that anything that you want in life, that you are capable of doing that. Whenever you start to go after things and you make even small progress, you make sure to acknowledge that for yourself, that you just made progress in something, and that's something to be proud of, because you might there might have been a time where you weren't even attempting to start or begin something. So the fact that you are starting now and making small progress is something to definitely be proud of yourself about. And that's something that you want to talk to yourself about and say that to yourself, like, I actually did this. Like, there was a time where I never would have thought that I would have ever took the steps to go towards the things that I want, and I'm actually doing that, and I'm really appreciative that I'm doing that. And you keep the positive talk, and you continue to do that whenever you wake up and throughout the day. You know what I mean? Like, over the years I figured out, like, it's to each their own, like, however you decide to do this, but like waking up, when you first wake up and speaking positivity to yourself, it's really important. And right before you go to sleep is a very important thing as well, to speak positivity and light into yourself as well. The reason is because when you first wake up, your mind is very vulnerable. I forgot the word for the state that your mind is in, but it can determine how the rest of your day goes. Like, there's a lot of people, as soon as they wake up, they get on their phone and they'll scroll on social media, and they'll just, like, I don't know, just scroll on social media or waste time or whatever. And then throughout the day, they're not able to focus, and they're constantly going on their phone. And there's a lot of things they might have wanted to do that day or tried to attempt to do that day, but because of how they started their day, they're not capable. And so that's why, or whenever they might go onto the app and see something negative, and like that can affect their mind as well. So it's like, when you first wake up and you decide to speak to yourself instead of, like, you know, going to your device, and you just talk to yourself and you speak positivity into yourself, affirmations, speak light to you into yourself, whatever it is that makes you feel good. Do that whenever you first wake up, and make that a habit so that anytime you wake up, that's the first thing that you're doing. If you were a person that didn't receive a lot of love when you were younger, or you didn't receive a lot of affection when you were younger, that's another thing that can cause you to have limiting beliefs about your capability of experiencing love in your adult life, because that's a very important thing to experience as a child. You're very vulnerable as a child. You know, you're new here, and these are the people that are taking care of you. And this is not to put you in a victim mindset at all, you know what I mean? Because things happen for a reason, and it all leads to you being able to overcome things. And so, like, now you're at the point where you maybe don't love yourself, and you don't even know how to show love to yourself, and you don't know how to love other people as well. And there's sometimes where people might think that they know how to love other people, but it's like, if you do not know how to love yourself first, then it's like whatever it is that you are experiencing with them isn't actual love. And that's not to say that you can't experience having feelings for another person or having love for them. It's just, there's a healthy way to express love and to experience love as well. And talking to yourself is something that is, like, I would say, like, looked down on and considered weird, and some people make fun of people for, whoa, talking to yourself can be weird and pretty strange if you've never done it before. And I'm pretty sure people get made fun of. Like, you can see it in movies all the time. Like, every time they show, like, a crazy person, they show them, like, talking to themselves or, like, having conversations. But talking to yourself is a really important thing. And if you're actually serious about making a change in your life and just doing something different that you've never tried before, and that actually may impact you and change the trajectory of your life, talking to yourself is definitely one of those things. And you don't have to talk to yourself in front of people and have full-blown conversations like, hey John, how you doing, John? Oh, I'm John and I'm doing great. You know, like, nothing like that. It's just mainly whenever you first wake up, you know, you'll probably be by yourself and you can speak to yourself out loud. It's kind of like if you are scared, you know, I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, what was that? Like, you know how you say things like that? It's something similar, you know? So if you're worried about, like, people making fun of you for that, I mean, in my personal opinion, I don't think you should care about what people think about you. You know, at the end of the day, it's about your progress as an individual and making a change in your life and becoming the person that you want to become. And this is one of the ways to reprogram your mind. Or I guess you can attempt to have someone else do it for you, but at the end of the day, like, you are the one that is going to be capable of reprogramming your mind, if that makes sense. So yeah, talking to yourself, and don't talk down on yourself. There's a lot of people that have the habit of, say if you mess up or something, or you make a mistake, they'll start to fall into a rabbit hole of, you know, bad self-talk and like speaking negative about themselves, like, oh, I'm so dumb, or oh, I'm so stupid, or I can't ever do anything right, or I'm not worthy of this. Or like, for example, if they maybe attempt a relationship with someone and say the situation doesn't work out, they might start going in on themselves about how they're not deserving of love, and like they never do anything right, and that's why no one wants it. Like, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. And you should stop that completely. Like, that's not going to do anything for you at all. Like, it's just going to make you feel worse than what you probably already did from having the relationship that didn't work out. And it's okay for situations not to work out, because not every situation is supposed to work out. A lot of situations you can just take things from it, and you know what you've learned from the situation, and just continue to move forward. Like, certain things are just an experience, and not everything has to be a certain type of way. But talking down on yourself about it isn't going to help the situation. It's going to do the complete opposite. And the more that you do it, the more of a habit that it will become, and you will continue to do that sort of thing. And it's going to definitely hinder you and cause you to not want to attempt to do other things. It's going to discourage you. And that's why it's so important for you to start to speak positivity into yourself. If you resonated with anything I spoke about in this video, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing so that this video reaches someone who may also need to hear this message. Thank you. Bye.